Chapter 2 is Missing by Josh Lieb, read by Mr. Paradise. Hi everybody, it's Mr. Paradise, and I wanted to send you my first distance learning read aloud. I picked this book because when I read it to my boys, they didn't laugh very much, but I laughed out loud throughout the whole book. And that means two things. One, I'm hilarious and have a great sense of humor. And two, they don't. But I know some of you will. And Dr. Buno, I know you're going to love this one. This book is by Josh Lieb, and it's called Chapter 2 is Missing. It's a book about how a very important chapter of the book is missing from the book itself. It's about this little boy. There is a detective in it, and there's also a janitor. By the end of the book, you have to solve the mystery of what happened in Chapter 2. Now, I'll give you a little hint. At the end of the book, you're going to want to hold up your device to a mirror so you can read the secret message at the end. That'll make the story make sense. There's a lot of goofy humor in here, and it's right up my alley. So enjoy. Chapter 2 is Missing. Chapter 1. Wait! I don't want to alarm you, but Chapter 2 is missing. It was definitely here yesterday, and it can't have walked off on its own, so that can only mean somebody stole it. Whoever took Chapter 2 didn't leave a ransom note. I would pay any price to get Chapter 2 back, obviously, because without Chapter 2, the book isn't complete. By the way, a ransom note is when you steal something and you leave a note for somebody to give you lots of money for what it was that you stole. If you happen to see Chapter 2, or if you notice any suspicious characters lurking around the book, please call the police at 925-55-FIND-2 and ask for Detective McGarrigan. She's the police officer in charge of the investigation. Or you can email her at detmcgar@gmail.com. I wonder what that email actually goes to. Anyway, or you can tweet her at Chapter 2 Book. Now, maybe you don't believe me about Chapter 2 being missing. Well, turn the page and take a look for yourself. Oh my golly gee willikers, he's right. Chapter 2 is missing. Looks like somebody ripped it right out of the book, or it's missing. I don't know what. I can't read any of those words. Oh, for goodness sakes, what are we going to do? Well, I guess I just better start reading Chapter 3. And furthermore, continued Milo the janitor, I think you owe me an apology. Milo, I said, I don't have time for apologies. Can't you see that Chapter 2 is missing? Milo shrugged. That doesn't make any difference to me. I'm just the janitor here after all. That is nothing like our McKinley janitors. They have been cleaning and doing everything for our school. Our McKinley janitors are nothing like Milo. Well, then get back to work while I deal with this crisis, I said. But first, please return the period that should be at the end of this sentence. I didn't think you wanted that, said Milo. And I thought it would look better at the end of this sentence next to the period I've already got over here. Well, it doesn't look better. It looks silly, I said. But don't bother returning it now. I don't want it after you've used it. Milo picked up his mop and walked out grumbling under his breath about how nobody respected a book's janitor, even though he was the one who kept the book clean enough to read. Oh, he's a book janitor, so he cleans books. All right, that makes sense. I wonder why he has a mop. That does not look good for a book, I don't think. Just then, Detective McGarrigan entered. I have good news, she said with a frown on her face. Ooh, new characters. What do you think she's like? Take a look at her picture. She looks like serious business, huh? Chapter 4. What? I said. Have you found Chapter 2? No, she said. Well, what's the news? I asked. I don't have any news, she said. I was puzzled. But you ended Chapter 3 by telling me you had good news. Now you're telling me that you have no news? Yes, said Detective McGarrigan. And everyone knows that no news is good news. I couldn't argue with that logic. After all, she's a detective. Has anybody called you at 925-55-FIND2 and left a tip? Or have you gotten any emails at detmagar@gmail.com? Any tweets at Chapter 2 Book? Yes, she said, but I can't tell you what they said. Why not? I asked. Because that information is supposed to be in Chapter 5. I love how the detective is dusting off page 13. That's really funny. Chapter 5. But this is Chapter 5, I said. Detective McGarrigan looked around. So it is, she said. Boy, these chapters are really whizzing by. Remember when I walked in back in Chapter 3? Now don't get sentimental on me, I said. Just tell me what tips the readers have given you. Maybe one of them's a clue. I don't think so, she said. All I've gotten are messages from a bunch of crazy people telling me that I'm very, very silly and that you're very, very, very silly. Look at those messages. It's at the end of the book. You are so dumb. He is so dumb. Well, that's obviously not true, I said. Exactly, she agreed. So how can I believe anything they say? Then they tell me all kinds of crazy theories, that Chapter 2 is hidden on the inside back cover of the book, and that you have to use a mirror to read it, and that the thief is obviously Milo, I yelled. Milo came running in, dragging his mop behind him. Now what's wrong? He asked. I pointed up. What's that giant pile of M's doing in the middle of the page? Chapter 6. I thought you wanted those there, he said. I think they look rather nice. Well, they don't look nice, I said. They look sloppy. Oh, Milo said. Do you want me to sweep them all into Chapter 1? Nobody goes there anymore. Don't bother, I said. I never liked Chapter 5 anyway. Am I still here or not? Asked Detective McGarrigan. You're still here, I said. Okay, just checking because I haven't said anything for a while. She turned to Milo. Milo, do me a favor. Go to the end of the book and see if Chapter 2 is printed on the inside back cover. Okay, said Milo. But as payment, I'm going to take all the punctuation from your next 3 sentences. You'd better not, you scoundrel. Do you have any idea who I am? I'll throw you in jail, you creep, you weasel, you animal, yelled Detective McGarrigan. Punctuation, 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 said Milo, and he left. Do you see how all the punctuation is missing? That is so funny. No, it is. It's funny. Come on. Chapter 7. Milo came back. That was fast. A lot can happen between chapters, said Milo. 100 years can go by. Have 100 years gone by? I asked. Detective McGarrigan stroked her long white beard. I don't know. Did you find Chapter 2 printed on the inside back cover? I asked. No, said Milo. I found something printed on the inside back cover, but it's the opposite of Chapter 2. Okay, the detective has a beard. That's got to be funny. You better be laughing by now. That's funny stuff. What do you mean? Asked Detective McGarrigan. Milo said, the thing printed on the inside back cover is called a Outrepecha. Well, that doesn't make any sense, said Detective McGarrigan. It doesn't seem so, said Milo. Of course, maybe it will make sense after a little reflection. And then he laughed, as if he'd made a joke, which was very silly of him, because, of course, he hadn't. Will you stop that infernal chuckling? I raged. The book is halfway over and we still haven't found Chapter 2. I need to think. Chapter 45. Well, this isn't supposed to be here, said Space President Emmy Sue. No, it certainly is not, I said. I don't even think it's supposed to be part of this book. This is supposed to be a mystery story, not a science fiction adventure. Let's just ignore it, said the Space President as she landed her rocket ship on Jupiter. Maybe it will just go away. Okay, that picture is hilarious. And there is Space Chewbacca. Chapter 8. Well, that's better, I said. What's better? Asked Detective McGarrigan. Don't worry about it, I said. You weren't there. Now, where were you? You just made me stop chuckling because you said you needed to think, said Milo. That's right, I said. I did. And I still can't think because you people won't stop talking. So here's what we're going to do. Everyone is going to be absolutely quiet for 3 whole chapters. Understand? No talking. Beginning when? Asked Detective McGarrigan. Beginning now. Chapter 12. I've got it, I said, and I snapped my fingers. Detective McGarrigan collapsed on the floor. Her face had turned purple. Oh, you idiot, I said. I said no talking. I didn't say you had to hold your breath. Her eyes fluttered open. I misunderstood, she whispered. After she recovered, I explained to her that I'd solved the mystery. Only one person has been acting suspiciously and shifting things around and stealing things throughout this whole book. Therefore, the person who stole Chapter 2 is obviously Ilo. I smiled triumphantly. Who's Ilo? Asked Detective McGarrigan. Not Ilo, I said. Ilo. Well, that didn't come out right. I tried again. Ilo. Ilo. But I still couldn't say it. I see what happened, I said. He stole all the s out of Y sentences, so I couldn't say his nay. His what? Asked Detective McGarrigan. And then he stashed the whole pile of stolen s in Chapter 5, I said. That Anne is, Annis, monster. Oh, you mean the M's, said Detective McGarrigan. She looked around the chapter. Say, where's Milo? Oh, my goodness, I said. He's issing. Chapter 13. Can we skip this chapter? Asked the detective nervously. I'm superstitious, and 13 is a very unlucky number. But I was already halfway through. I'd spotted something in the next chapter. It looked like a handwritten note from Milo. Chapter 14. By handwritten, I mean that Milo had traced his hand and written on it so that it looked like a turkey. This is a visual joke you'll see on the next page. He had labeled the turkey you. I don't know why he would want to insult you, though. He doesn't even know you. I guess he's just rude. On the other side of the paper, he had typed a message. I wonder what it said. Oh, by the way, check out that joke. Get it? Handwritten. He wrote a hand and wrote you like you're a turkey. Now that's funny, guys. Chapter 15. The message said, "You fools have turned me into a criminal. Now I have escaped, and you will never get your precious Chapter 2 back. Love, Milo." That's a very polite way to end a nasty letter. Detective McGarrigan said, I wonder if that was written by the same Milo we know. It has to be our Milo, I said. Well, not necessarily, said Detective McGarrigan. There are a lot of people named Milo in the world. Yes, I said, but if it was written by a Milo we didn't know, he wouldn't have signed it Love. Detective McGarrigan was impressed. You should be a detective, she said. Chapter 16. So that's it, I said. We've solved the case. The villain is Milo. But where is Chapter 2? And why did Milo steal it? Asked Detective McGarrigan. I shrugged. It was the kind of shrug that says, there are some things we'll never know. Detective McGarrigan shrugged too. It was the kind of shrug that said, a cockroach just crawled down my back. That kind of thing never happened when this book had a janitor. Get it? Janitor keeps things clean. Of course, if you happen to stumble across Chapter 2, or if you have any idea why Milo turned to crime, please call 925-55-FIND2, or tweet at Chapter 2 Book, or email the detective at detmagar@gmail.com. My personal theory is that there never was a chapter 2, and Milo only pretended there was one in order to distract me while he stole the Hope Diamond, which I had left hidden under your bed. Now, the Hope Diamond is a really super famous diamond. It's really large and it's really valuable. So a lot of crime stories talk about stealing diamonds, and that was that little joke there. I'm still wondering, what's all that promotion about? I wonder who that email would turn to. Do you guys think that you and your parents can email and give the detective an idea of why you think he did it? I wonder if it'll actually go somewhere. So curious. Go ahead. Go look under your bed now. If a giant blue diamond isn't there, you'll know that Milo succeeded. It's not there, is it? I was right. I guess that janitor is sorry he ever tangled with a genius like me. You may have escaped this time, Milo, but you'll make a mistake someday. And on that day, I will be waiting like a cat that is waiting for a mouse who stole the Hope Diamond. And the mouse thinks it got away with it, but there will be a cat there waiting, and that cat will be me, and I will be waiting like a cat. So what's the deal? I turn the page and it's blank. What's going on? There's like black stuff everywhere. Come on, dude. We've had a really tough week. The coronavirus is here. All the kids are stuck at home. All they want to do is finish the story. Can you please give me the end of the story? Okay, boys and girls, here's the part I was telling you about. You're going to pause as soon as I'm done talking and bring your device into the bathroom or anywhere you have a nice sized mirror with good lighting. You're going to hold the book up to the mirror so that way you can look in the mirror and see the reflection of the book. And then you're going to be able to figure out the mystery of what happened to chapter 2. It is time to make some predictions. Anybody want to guess what chapter 2 says? Go ahead and talk to me through the screen. I can hear you. Ooh. Nice. You sound like you have a great teacher. That was a great prediction. Let's find out what actually happened to chapter 2. Pause. So, what did you think of the book? Did you like the ending? Did you predict what was going to happen? It was fun, wasn't it? I loved how it all came together once you read it. If you missed it, you can rewind it and try it again and slow it down if you didn't get it to read it the first time. To make sure I don't get sued, don't forget that this is Josh Lieb's Chapter 2 is Missing. It's a really fun book, and you'll notice that I got it at the library back when libraries were still open. Boys and girls, right now is a tough time, and everybody's trying to work really hard. Your parents are trying to work hard, and so are your teachers, and so are you, to make things a little more normal. So if you have a library card, make sure you Google how to get ebooks sent to your digital devices and e-readers so you can have access to tons of books. You don't have to wait for the library to open to get some good books. And reading is such a great way to connect each other and have some fun. And there's so many good books out there, and the e-readers make it possible for you. So hang in there, McKinley School. I'm Mr. Paradise, and I look forward to seeing you guys all soon. Have a good night.